Speaks out here in front of Lambeau. We're going to try to get the dub. Green Bay's won 12 straight. We're making it to an end, baby. Let's go.
At the twilight's last gleaming, Rudolph's lights and bright stars through the perilous fight. Over the ramparts we watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rockets that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Here comes. Here comes. There it is. Oh, that's sick! Oh, that's sick! That's sick! Oh,
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Detroit Sports Flow here with BK.
And Speaks.
This week, we will be diving into the Detroit Lions' 13-24 loss versus the Green Bay Packers, discussing how our offensive line just struggled against the Green Bay Packers' strong front seven, and then also talk about how our defensive line was unable to get to the quarterback, Jordan Love, for the Green Bay Packers. They were able to kind of pick us apart with that, so we will dive into that a little bit further, and then finally we will give our predictions for this week's home opener versus the Chicago Bears. The subjects that we will be diving into in this episode is going to be the clash of opinions. Speaks and I are going to give our different opinions on a certain topic, and then on top of that we're going to talk about the player matchups, how our offensive line and our defensive line competed against their front lines, and just kind of the trenches battle there. And then we're going to discuss our players of the week, who we thought played well for the Lions, and then give a report card for our coaches, Dan Campbell, John Morton, our offensive coordinator, Hank Fraley, our offensive line coach, and then Kelvin Shepard, our defensive coordinator.
Let's get after it.
Let's dive into film room here.
Let's do it.
Right out of the gates, this first play is on the first drive for the Green Bay Packers. You'll see just how much time that Jordan Love had to throw the football here. He's able to hit Romeo Doubs on this out route, and it's just,
No pressure, clean pocket.
The whole first drive, they were able to just pick us apart with that. Any quarterback in the league can make that throw if he's got that type of time.
If he has that type of time, and DJ Reed did not live up to expectations in his first game over here in Detroit, that was very evident. Hopefully he bounces back next week, but when you have that clean of a pocket with no pressure, he's going to make those throws all day.
And it's tough on your secondary, man.
Very
tough.
tough.
If they have all day to throw, then you've got to cover for longer periods of time.
Yep.
I think that led to DJ Reed having some struggles here too.
100% agree
This
with
is
you.
later on in the first drive here. This is how they scored the touchdown. This is a pretty good play from Jordan Love, but you can see Tucker Kraft is just able to find a little gap within our coverage. He threads the needle here, and this is pretty much...
Hutch gets a little pressure there, but still throwing it into double coverage there right across the middle. Great throw.
Great throw. And
Great catch.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's like, you look at that too, Speaks, and it's like there's no pressure.
No.
These guys this entire drive just drove it down our throats because there was no pressure. This is a play that I want to look at that was a little bit before that play, where we were struggling to find any pressure on the first drive like we're mentioning. And then right here, you will see that Kelvin Shepard decides on 3rd and 7, it's a good idea
Drop
to
Hutch back.
drop our star pass rusher, Aiden Hutchinson, out. We needed him to rush the passer on that play, and we were unable to do so because of that.
That's a young defensive play caller making a mistake there. You don't drop Hutch back into coverage right there when we're struggling creating pressure. We need to create that pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get down to this point and you're talking about an easy throw for Jordan Love because he's got such a clean pocket here.
Pitch and catch.
Yeah, Jaden Reed just runs his route. He's wide open, but he had all day to throw the football on this.
all day, right over Terrion Arnold, easy money.
Yeah, just nothing that Arnold could do with that play.
No.
And that was the story of the entire game. Our defensive pass rush just was not there. The defense struggled to stop anybody because of it. And I think that's something that we need to be looking at in the film room this week and get it straightened out before Chicago.
We need to look at it, because with all that being said, as bad as our pass rush was, our defensive run stop was actually pretty darn good.
Very good. We stopped the run very well this week. It was just the fact that we couldn't get to the quarterback and they were
Exactly.
able to pass on us. But honestly, after the first drive, the defense kind of settled in and played well.
Yep.
So I think when I'm looking at the defense, it's the pass rush that's the main focus. But other than that, every other position group played pretty well.
With the play calling, dropping Hutch back, situational stuff, I think a lot of this can be worked out and is very easily fixable.
Yes, I would agree. This play right here, this shows you the other side of it, where the Lions were unable to just get any sort of protection on offensive side of the ball either. We were getting pushed back all day.
Miscommunication on the offensive line, gets pressured, rushed, pick.
Has to get it out quick to St.
Has to get
Brown.
it out quick.
And this is what you get, is the DB is able to break on it because he knows that he's looking for that first read. And that was it.
Anytime Goff is pressured, feels that pressure, doesn't have the clean pocket, doesn't get to analyze all his reads, is when he makes the mistakes, and that was an evident mistake right there.
Exactly. Getting to this next one, Speaks. This is another one where you're looking at it and you're like, hey, what exactly are our guys doing? This is Alex Anzalone dropping a pick here.
This is real bad. We needed this play in the worst ways. I do not know how you dropped. Rewind that a little bit, BK. We have everything going right for us here. We're in good set. We're in good coverage. We need to make a play, and our middle linebacker, who should be making the play there, just drops the ball.
Yeah, one of our star middle linebackers when we're talking about.
Captain.
Yeah, and Alex Anzalone. And at this point of the game, too, Speaks, we're talking about it being a situation where it is a 17-6 game.
Yeah.
This is exactly when we need him to come up with the play.
Yep.
He's unable to do it. It changes the entire game because we get the next play here where we have Brian Branch, who's dropping a pick here. But the other side of that is we're looking at it right here. And Brian Branch, this play gets called back because Brian Branch ends up making the pick, like I mentioned. But
Yep.
on top of that, they call a holding penalty on Rock Ya-Sin in the slot. As you can see, that was a very suspect holding penalty. And then they also call an unnecessary roughness on Aiden Hutchinson as he is, trying to get a block for his guy to return it, and he ends up hitting Jordan Love because Jordan Love becomes a tackler. I don't know what you want these guys to do.
I don't know what you want these guys to do either. I mean, it was a beautiful pick. It looked like great coverage by Rocky Ya-Sin. And then Hutch is doing what he needs to do. He becomes a blocker. Love becomes a tackler. He blocks Love. And then they call it unnecessary roughness. No, he is no longer a quarterback officials. He is a tackler, and all that Hutch did was block who he should have blocked.
Yeah, and the thing is, put flags on these quarterbacks already. This
Yeah.
is ridiculous. You can't touch these guys.
No.
And like when that play happens, that turns into a 17-13 game or 13-17 game where the Lions are right back in it, and we're just unable
And then
to
we
do
finally have a little momentum.
it. Yeah, but it's all gone with that.
We couldn't gain momentum all day.
And then we go right back to the offensive side here, Speaks, and you can see the offensive line problems again.
Let's pause it real quick. This is after we forced a 4-and-out, made them punt, and then we go right back into the struggles. They pin us deep, and what do?
Right here, Taylor Decker, our star left tackle. Rashawn Gary, the right side here, just pushes him straight back into Jared Goff, and Jared Goff can't do
Like
anything
he's
about
standing
it.
still. Bull rushes him.
Yeah, just one arm all the way back, and Jared Goff's doing everything he can to not have a safety there.
Just no communication on that offensive line. It was bad.
Very bad. And then this is a testament to us having the rookie guard with Graham Glasgow getting his first start at center. He also has Christian Mahogany here on his other side, but you can see Tate Ratledge and Graham Glasgow
Are
on
not
this
on the
play
same page.
have no cohesion at all. And 96 has to be blocked here. This is a run play. It's going to work. But 96 is the number one guy to block, and nobody touches it.
Out of the 24 runs, 22 of our running plays, the defensive player was in the backfield past the line of scrimmage before our running back could even run north or south.
Just brutal.
Awful.
Yeah, couldn't get the run
It's
game
not
going,
sustainable.
and it kills us.
No, because that's how we thrive with play action running. When we're running in the trenches, that's when Goff gets heated up. Then he can throw the deep bombs. He can throw the stuff over the middle. We couldn't do anything. We had nothing to get our game to go the way we need it to go, and what excels Goff and our offense as a whole.
Well, and the other side of that too speaks is if the play action isn't working and the run game isn't working, all of a sudden all these star pass rushers that the Green Bay Packers have, as they've added Micah Parsons, that all these star pass rushers, all they have to do is pin their ears back and come after the quarterback.
Yep.
Because they don't have to worry about the run game at all.
Exactly.
But this is the one bright spot of the offense throughout the entire game. As we get late into the game, Isaac TeSlaa, our star rookie receiver out of Hudsonville, shout out to Hudsonville, ends up making an unbelievable first touchdown catch. Fortunately, it was in garbage time,
Yeah.
so nobody really cared about it.
A beautiful throw where only TeSlaa could get it. What a catch by TeSlaa for his first TD as an NFL player. Amazing catch, should be talked about more. It wasn't even on You Got Moss, just no talk because it was in garbage minutes. I understand it. I hope we utilize him more moving forward. I know he was sick going into the game. MCDC said he didn't want to overload him. Well, he was one of the few starters that got playing time in the preseason, and look what happens when he gets a few snaps. He comes up big. So I really hope we utilize him more, and MCDC said he was going to utilize him more going into the Chicago game, but there's a reason we got rid of Tim Patrick. It's to utilize this guy. Utilize him. Let him play with Jama. Let him play with St. Brown. Don't let him play in these garbage minutes. I mean, thank you for letting him play, but put him in when it counts.
Yeah, exactly. And you can make the case that this was a better catch than Odell Beckham's catch because he has to get his feet in bounds where Beckham didn't have to worry about that. This is just an absolutely spectacular catch for TeSlaa on his first touchdown there.
And about the only good throw Goff had all day.
Yeah, and the only real positive thing we did offensively.
Yes, all the way around.
First Tier Speaks, let's dive into the player matchups. This week we're going to be looking at the trenches battle, how our offensive line fared against their elite defensive line, and then also how our defensive line fared against their offensive line, how we weren't able to get pressure on the quarterback at all. But let's get into it.
Let's get into it. We could really see how big Frank Ragnow was missed in this. We were missing all kinds of assignments. Graham Glasgow wasn't on the same page with Goff. Goff wasn't on the same page with Glasgow. Glasgow wasn't on the same page with Mahogany. Glasgow wasn't on the same page with Tate Ratledge. And then Penny Sewell was left alone over there trying to cover for Ratledge. It was a mess up front and in the trenches all day long, BK.
Yeah, it was a mess, and I believe that it was a mess because Tate Ratledge is a rookie.
Yep.
He was obviously starting in his first true NFL game. And then on top of that, when you lose a all-pro center like Frank Ragnow to retirement, you have to replace him with somebody. We replaced him with Graham Glasgow. He's got familiarity with the offensive line, but he just wasn't able to communicate it to the guards, it felt like. The communication was completely off. The run game was unable to do anything because of it. And then on top of that, it was just, you know, Goff was sitting back there like a like a deer in the headlights throughout the entire game.
And that's when he struggles, is when we can't get our play action going. That opens up everything for the rest of our offense, is when we can run the ball down their throats. That opens up the play action. That gets our wide receivers on the outside open, the over-the-middle stuff to Laporta and St. Brown. And Goff didn't have a shot in heck all day long to do what makes him great.
Exactly. And then when we're talking about the defensive side of the ball, we were unable to get a pass rush all game long. It felt like their offensive line was just dominant, but it might have been the lack of pass rushers that we have. We know Aleem McNeil, our star
Huge
defensive
miss.
tackle, is out with an injury till November, but it didn't look like we had any interior push there.
We didn't have any interior push. Tyleek Williams, our rookie, who we were really counting on, was dismal in this performance on the pass rush, on the run stop. So we have a lot of work to do, but I think we can clean it up, BK.
Absolutely.
Next segment we're going to get right into is Clash of the Opinions. BK, why don't you break it down for us?
Yeah, right out of the gates, I think the biggest question that all Lions fans are asking right now, Speaks, is did we do enough in the offseason to help this pass rush? It looked like it was abysmal throughout the first portion of that game.
Boy, was it ever.
It's tough to say because I get it. Like, we have to invest in the guys that we have on the roster. We know we have plenty of talent on the roster that has to be taken care of in the contract sense. But on the same side, it looked bad, Speaks. Like, we didn't have any interior pass rush. I know Aleem McNeil's out till November. He's going to help out a ton there. But on top of that, it's just there was nothing on the other side of Hutch. There was no sort of pressure. And you can make the case that going out and getting Parsons would have made a lot of sense here with the dominance that him and Hutch would have on both sides. But I think they probably did the right thing here, but it certainly looked bad week one, and they're going to have to turn it around in these upcoming weeks.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit, BK. Time will tell, but I think if you saw what the Rams did, they went all in to win that Super Bowl. Maybe we should have done the same thing with the coin flip the other way. Then we ain't going to be able to sign a Gibbs. We ain't going to be able to sign a Brian Branch. We ain't going to be able to sign a Hutch, Waymo, Campbell. All these contracts are coming up. So do I think we did the right thing? I do, because we're taking care of our players internally that we drafted. But on the same coin, we have this window, the window shrinking. The first game of this week didn't look very good. We have a lot of changes on the offense, defense side of the ball, coordinators. We'll have to see, but right now we put a lot of pressure on young guys, Tyleek and unproven Davenport within our system to make big plays.
Yeah, and Parsons would have been nice, but we're talking about a situation where we would have had to give up 2 first-round picks, which mortgages our future, and we would have had to pay him a ton of money.
Yes.
Next, we're going to be diving into our players of the week here. Right out of the gates, I'll start us off, Speaks. My offensive player of the week is Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta came out and he looked like old Sam Laporta. It was great to see with Laporta. He ended up with
He looked like a healthy Laporta.
Yeah, which was awesome
Yes.
because we didn't get to see it all last year.
Nope.
He ended up with 6 receptions for 79 yards. A lot of that was late in the game. It looked like Goff was starting to mesh with him a little bit more. I really liked what I saw there. I expect a big season out of Laporta. I mentioned it a little bit in our predictions episode, but I continue to see him take steps forward, and I think he's going to be right back on pace like he was a few years ago. Defensive side, not many great performances to look at, but a little outlier here. Linebacker Derek Barnes, Speaks.
After the big contract we gave him.
Yeah, had a great season, or a great first game of the season here with 4 tackles, 2 assisted tackles, was great in the running defense. I expect Barnes to continue to grow this season, and I really like what I saw.
My player of the game was Isaac Tesla on the offense side of the ball. In garbage minutes and very few snaps, we were able to see exactly what this guy's made out of. You can see playing preseason snaps makes a huge difference. He came out, had the great catch of the game. I want to see MCDC utilize him more moving forward because we didn't trade Tim Patrick for him to only come in garbage minutes. So, Tesla, keep doing your thing. Defensive side of the ball, I'd say Brian Branch was the player of the game on the defense for me. He led the team with the highest player ranking with at least 10 snaps at 85.1. Brian Branch would have, had that great pick if they didn't take it away from him. He had 5 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. BB, keep doing your thing and keep it up. I think he's going to have a great season. Next segment we're going to jump into is report cards. We're going to report on all the coaches. I'll jump right in. MCDC, I'm going to have to give you a D-. You didn't have these boys prepared. You didn't set them up for success. You didn't give him any snaps in the preseason besides Isaac Tesla, and then just because you sit him and only play him in garbage minutes. You didn't have these boys ready to play. You didn't have the rookies who we counted on ready to play. You put them in bad positions. With the coach you are, I expect better from you, and I know you'll be better against your foe and Ben Johnson next week. Kelvin Shepherd, I'll give you a D. Again, you came out, you played a little bit better. The run defense was there. Coverage was dismal. You didn't put the guys in the best chance to succeed. I'm going to give you a D. Got a lot of room to improve, but I thought we did play better, so I'll give you a D. Johnny Morton, I'll give you an F. You didn't do anything for me. There was just no cohesion on the offense side of the ball whatsoever. You have a lot of work to do. Hank Fraley, offensive line. You're supposed to be the best offensive line coach in the game. Boy, is there a lot of work to do, and I know you're the man to get there. So I expect nothing but big things for you. My grade, a D.
Oh, all right. MCDC, I'm giving him a D too. I don't think he had the boys ready. I thought, resting the guys in the preseason did us a disservice. Going into this game, they looked lackadaisical, and I think that's because of game reps. Kelvin Shepherd, I thought the defense played pretty well late. I'm going to give him a C+. I think he's going to be able to get these guys right. John Morton, I thought he struggled because they were unable to get the running game going. I think he will be better going forward. I'm going to put him at a D+. And Hank Fraley, I got him at a D because the offensive line just was not clicking by any means. All right, now we're going to dive into our predictions for this week's matchup with the home opener when Chicago Bears come to town. I'll be there. I'm fired up for it, but let's get into it here, Speaks. Ben Johnson coming back to Detroit, going to be a very loud environment. Us fans are going to bring it to the table. I think
lots of boos.
Lots of boos are going to happen. We're going to try to make a statement and say, hey, maybe you shouldn't have left us. Maybe you should have just stayed here or gone to a different team outside of the division. Yeah, exactly. So I think we're going to have the crowd clicking on all cylinders. I think we're going to be much better offensively with these offensive linemen getting their communication sorted out. And I think the defense is going to make them one-dimensional. I think our run defense is going to be very good. We're going to lock them down.
We're going to lock down Swifty.
And then we're going to put it on Caleb Williams to make the plays. I don't think Caleb Williams in that loud environment will be able to do it. I think the Lions offense comes out big here, Speaks, and we end up getting a 34-21 win and put this thing right back on track going into Baltimore the following week.
I would also agree with you. I think our offense gets back on track. We have a lot to prove, and who better to prove it in front of than our old offensive coordinator and Ben Johnson. Not only do the coaches want to prove it, but the players want to prove it that it wasn't all Ben Johnson. It's going to be a loud atmosphere, and everyone is going to be rip-roaring and ready to go. It's going to be the mentor versus the apprentice. Let's see how this goes. It's going to be interesting. I think we come out guns a-blazing. I think Goff has a good game. I think we bully him up front. And the play action and the way we like to play our game really gets solidified here this week, BK. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think Kelvin Shepherd has a way better game plan. I think we make Caleb Williams make bad decisions, and he's not going to be able to execute, and we're going to put him in some fire. I have us winning this 28-24 in a close one, but we score the points that we are capable of. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Detroit Sports Flow with BK and Speaks, you blue Kool-Aid drinkers. You guys have a great rest of your night, you filthy animals. We will be back next week to recap the Bears versus the Lions, and we will talk about the Lions W. Go Lions, baby.
Go Lions.